Greetings, welcome. What's going on, y'all? This is Queen Sereda. We're talking about the Fool's Journey. It's 22 cards. It's the major arcana. And the tarot is something that is used to do readings with often. You gain deeper insight. It's basically like your subconscious or the spirit in picture form that you can see in front of you. And you're able to use your mind, use whatever sort of senses you want to use psychically to be able to decode the messages that are in tarot. So at this stage, we are talking about the very first part of the tarot because it is different suits it has. And the first part is 22 cards. These 22 cards tell a story of a soul or, definitely a soul on a journey, an idea or a concept, and what it's going through as it goes through life is learning these different lessons, going in these different doorways, which are indicative to the cards. If you can think about a door opening and you seeing this experience here, or this is some place you've traveled to on your journey and you run into this. This is something that everybody's going to be going through these different lessons in the tarot. And now we are at the stage where we talk about the tower. And the tower has to do with sudden things happening, unforeseen things happening, and things being built on the wrong foundation. It also has to do with a person finding out something that's so deep, such a spiritual moving experience that it can literally just knock them completely off their current structure. A lot of times when you get the Tower card, you're learning how to build foundations correctly. And often it has to do with people who, they want things not to be so hard. And they feel like if they look far and wide and build fast, that they'll have a great reward that way. However, it's just the opposite. If you start solid, build strong, a sure, strong foundation, then it'll last for a long time. You can do a whole lot with it rather than just throwing together some rush job and doing it half-heartedly. So here, this person, they built this on top of ice, and this building is not going to be able to stay on that. It's showing that this is subject to the cycles of life. Even though you're inside this and you think you can hide from it, no matter what, nature is going to run its course, and the cycle of life will continue and ensue. Hopefully these things aren't happening to people like right now that are listening to this. But if you have an ego, your crown will get straight knocked off your head. I've been there. Yeah, you definitely learn that there's a whole lot more going on besides what's going on in your head. This has to do with that also. The tower, you get destroyed and you have to rebuild. So it feels like somebody is destroying your life. It feels like you've run into a gridlock that you can't go front, side to side, in the back. A lot of times people get the Tower card. They're people who feel like they need to keep moving because chaos seems to keep coming up. And what life is teaching them is how to build a foundation, how to get that structure. And a lot of times they don't want it, or they feel like they don't want it, and they want to be outside of the conventional life. But there is a part of them that does deeply crave stability and being in one place. So they've got to find a way to satisfy the both of those. Because eventually, if you build things on the wrong foundation, they're just not going to last. You have also utter transformation that comes out of nowhere. Destruction that leads to you having to rebuild something. So a lot of times you see death and rebirth a lot, a shock coming out of nowhere and a deep awakening experience for someone getting this. Now, this has to do with an illusion that people may have had security because they were inside of a building. However, they didn't have it. Their thinking was clouded maybe when they put it together, but however, it just couldn't last on that type of foundation. Nothing can ever really compare to the type of situation that happens when you have the tower just kind of explode like that and something kind of blows up in your face, if you will. But it does teach you to go back to the drawing board, and it humbles you. That's what it does. It humbles you. It gives you the sort of feeling like the Hangman card gives you. Like, I'm going to have to really move through this and experience it and be conscious and aware of what I'm doing, or else this could happen. And that's something that most people don't really want to see. It's telling you also, if you get high, then be careful, because if you don't build things correctly, you can get knocked out of there no matter how high up you go. Everybody's subject to nature, to balance. And also for those people who face and feel like they face karma because they don't know how to utilize the laws of forgiveness and the universal laws, or they don't know how to transmute the energy, then karma, this shows you that. Number 16 on this card represents karma a lot of times in the tarot, and that what you did before is coming back to bite you later, unless you learn how to forgive yourself, because you are the one who is determining what it is that you hold on to and what you let bother you. And for that reason, that's when the karma comes, because you stew over it and attract more of it when you can transmute it. I don't want to get too deep into alchemy right now, though. We'll talk about that in other videos. Now, the last part of the Tower card, it has a time, it has a place, and the time and place has to do with you rebuilding foundations from the bottom up, making sure the core and everything is right. You're supposed to learn from past mistakes when you get this card. It's telling you to be forewarned. A lot of times you get warnings too before these things happen, but then they're ignored. They don't look exactly like this, but it'll be some sort of a warning, that something that's going to make you look at the situation, something that makes you look back and kind of reflect on it, and then you keep pushing it back and pushing it back. And then it just comes out of nowhere, but really it didn't, because you've already been getting a lot of warnings already, or signs. It was something that needed to be taken care of. It could be a parking ticket, it could be a mortgage, it could be a whole lot of different things. It has to do with ignoring problematic situations, even letting limiting beliefs put you in this building and or so-called cave, and you enclose yourself away from reality, and then you have to pay for it later on, because reality is going to come in. You can't run from what's really happening around you. This is a time for you to grow also dynamically. You will look back and see that this was a good opportunity for you. At the time, though, it can really feel like a huge burden to have to start over again, because often with the Tower card, something has to be started over or reset. But this can also act as a catalyst to heal your life, heal you, heal relationships, and to help you heal everything, release old past memories, and use these sort of situations that are shocking and out of the blue like this as learning situations, as something to jolt you forward. But you don't have to wait for this to happen. You don't have to wait for this to happen. This is kind of after the Devil card, right? So the Devil card is talking about obsession and you just overdoing whatever it is, and then this is the result. It's in story form. So if you don't let it get past, if you can break away from the stuff and things like that, then you don't have to deal with this. If you can use your will and build things right, and then it doesn't have to happen like this. It just doesn't. So the other things that this card has to do with, I'm going to look at my journal here and see what it says. A rude awakening, a shocking realization, long-standing beliefs that will be changed or challenged. Long-standing beliefs will crumble. Something built on a weak foundation I mean, how weak is this with ice? Like, for real? Yeah. Whew. I wish someone would have told me a long time ago not to do that. A long time ago. A violent shakeup. What else? Something that will soon need rebuilding, because look, it's not built correctly. So it's going to need to be rebuilt. So you're going to have to do twice the work because you didn't do it right the first time. Or if I didn't do it right the first time. Also, reconstruction upon a new foundation. And so it's going to also need rebuilding with reconstruction of the whole entire structure has to be rebuilt. And it's funny we're talking about this card right now, but yeah, you want to start with the right things. You want to get the right answers. You want to ask the right questions. And you want to have the tools that you need to build correctly. Do your research. And that way, just a few things. You can research and then build it the right way, and you don't have to do it again. You know, organization really helps with this. So with the Tower card, it does teach you about disruption. It could be talking about something within you that you keep pushing down, and then one day it just comes bursting out because you aren't channeling that in any sort of way. You aren't cultivating peace and joy, and whatever else you're cultivating has to come out and reveal itself, so that way it can be healed, because that's how life works, doesn't it? All right, y'all, so I'm your host, Queen Sereda. I am a holistic coach, and I love what I do. I know you all don't hear much about me, but the website's naturallyhighlife.com. On Instagram, I'm Queen_Sereda, working on some wonderful things for you all, and I will talk to you in the next video. Peace and much love. Let me know how this card has been a part of your life, or have you experienced something like this before? What has been your experience with this sort of situation and not building on the right sort of foundation and the structure not being put together right? What has, your experience been with that? And what can someone learn from this type of card? Like, what did the Fool learn from this when he opened up this and had to deal with this Tower archetype lesson? All right, y'all. I look forward to talking to you. Peace.